So we're on Consumer Math, Chapter 1, Lesson 8, the key to rounding money, and we'll be working on pages 15 to 16. So when you're doing calculations and you're working with money, you might come up with an answer, well, something like this, maybe 135.65762. And you realize that, well, because it's American money, you can only go out to the hundredths place. All right, and so you're going to have to round that off. You're going to have to get this out of there. All right, so this is a great lesson on rounding off, which applies not only to money, but also to other things that you do as well. So if you ever are asked to round off to the nearest hundredth, or to the nearest thousandth, or the nearest tenth, the principles that you're going to learn today apply across the board. So our problem is 135.65762. This is right out of your textbook, so you can follow along. And you'll see that they're asking you to round to the nearest cent. Okay, so let's talk about the process. First off, you want to identify the position that's the cent. Okay, and it's right here. Okay, it's 2 over from the decimal. All right. At this point, you look 1 to the right, 1 over. And the number that's there is 7. All right. Now here's the rounding rule. If this number is 5 or bigger, this number bumps up 1. If this number is 4 or less, you hold. Now, this number is 7. Because it's bigger than 5, this rounds up. And it becomes 135.66. So like I said, if this number is 5 or bigger, bump up. If it's 4 or lower, hold. Another example, $135.65074. We're rounding to the nearest cent. So here's the cent position, and the number next to it is 0. So since the number next to it is 0, we're going to hold at 135.65. Excuse me. So our next problem, now you're going to be asked on the next page to do some different things for rounding off. One thing you'll have to do is to the nearest dime. So our first problem, $7.892, we look, where's the dime position? And it's right there. That's where the dime position, the tenths position is. We look 1 to the right, and that number is 9. So that means we're going to bump up, and it's going to become 7.90. So this is rounded off to the nearest dime. If we round off to the nearest dollar, we find the dollar position, it's right there. We look 1 over, it's 0.4. Because it's 4, remember 4 or less we hold, it becomes $40. All right, so you've got a couple pages of rounding to do. Enjoy.